Well, welcome to our live trading session, guys. You are walking into a green candle, but it's not the green candle we want, ideally. This is the Dixie giving us a pumping into what looks like horizontal and trend resistance. But interestingly, the Dixie had a nice reaction of the 200-day MA, which you see in these sessions all the time on these altcoins. So we're going to hand this over to Jay. He's gonna try and explain to us what's going to happen here with Bitcoin and the stock market when we see this Dixie pumping. I must say I'm in a little long against the ZAR currency. Dollar ZAR pairs, because the Dixie was looking pretty good. So on Prime XBT, I've taken a long there. But Jay, can you tell us what the next play is? I see the stock market's also hitting a resistance zone.
Yeah, hello everybody. Hope we well. So let's have a look. I'm going to start on the stock market today. And the reason I'm going to start there is because the stock market, and this is the S&P 500, is coming up to the first area, or the next area of resistance, which is starting at around 4540, and it goes up to 4595. It's the same area that we got rejected at the end of July. And when the US had a downgrade in the debt from a AA to a AAA, we gapped down the next day. Now it's left a gap here when it gapped down. So there's a possibility that the S&P can carry on going up here and possibly close this gap. But we need to keep an eye on here. A rejection here could negatively affect crypto. We just need to keep an eye on there. The one thing that I did see earlier, and I'm going to smaller time frames here, and it's only the 1 hour. So if we have a look at the RSI, and I'm looking at yesterday compared to now, the RSI is lower than yesterday, yet price is higher. So this is a bearish, what is it? Divergence. Bearish divergence, but it's only a small time frames. So this can be negated if RSI starts pushing up and we just carry on up here. So keep an eye on there. As I say, there's a possibility of closing that gap. So the Dixie, my chart is slightly different to Dylan's, and there's nothing wrong with that. What I'm looking at here is that if we go back to the daily, we did have a resistance here, and it comes from November last year, where we touched in November, we got quite close in March, we touched in June, and we actually broke out of here around the 17th, and we've come down for the retest. And you can see that we retested here yesterday, and we've moved up now, and we're slightly higher than the 103.50 level. So let's keep an eye on here. We can hang around in this area. It doesn't necessarily have to carry on to the upside. And then the 10-year yield, we got this massive area of resistance that we touched in October last year, and we got rejected here once again. And the 10-year yield has also come down to the first or the next level of support, and is currently testing that level of support. So this is all areas of, what is it going to do next? Are we going to find support here and move up? Are we going to move sideways? Or are we going to carry on trending down? So there's a lot of questions that still have to be answered here. Okay, let's have a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, on Tuesday, we had this beautiful pump up. We got rejected up here at 28, and that 28 level, you can see there's been multiple attempts previously in May. And yeah, in May, we're trying to get through this 28. We got rejected in the same area, and we started pushing down. Where would it go from here? Well, the next level of support is at 26,600. When I'm talking about support now, it was the previous range high that we were ranging in sort of from the 18th to the 28th. So we could come and retest there. But if we put on some fibs here and just to get an idea where we currently are, and I'm going to take it from there. Looks like we have gone below the 382. So the next level is this 618 down about 26,700. So there's a possibility if stock market retraces, there's a possibility that we come down and retest these areas lower down here. I don't know, Dylan, if you've seen anything else there as far as Bitcoin is concerned.
I was chatting to Dave earlier, and we were looking at this BTC on the 1 hour, 2 hour, and we were looking for this double bottom play that we're seeing here now. So yeah, I'm watching this area closely. If it starts dipping lower now, then I don't think we're going to get that swing failure that we wanted. We needed sort of a faster move down. So yeah, eyes on this now, but this is kind of what we were waiting for. But we wanted a bit of a reversal here.
Yeah,
Dave, I don't know if is Dave here.
Yeah, I'm here. I agree with you.
Yeah, I've got that bit of a double bottom area here.
Yeah,
that could play out.
So it is front running our 26.8 that we've been waiting for. I think everyone's waiting for this 26.8 as well. There's a 618 there, Jay. So
yeah,
that's an area to watch next, guys.
Absolutely. And then Ethereum is pretty much on support here, the 1700 support, and we've been holding support here for the last 24 hours. So that seems to be holding now. And it was the range high over the period from the middle of August to push up here on Tuesday. So it's come down and retested that. So we want the 1700 to hold here for Ethereum. I think that's pretty much from my side.
Yeah, Jay, thanks. So I mean, things are pretty boring at the moment once again while we wait for some action. I'm still sitting in a phantom long. I think Sheldon is also still long phantom. I've got an injective long off the 618. I've got some interesting stuff to show you guys. We had Link playing big games with us back in a range, and I think we might get a little bounce entry on render just now. So let's pull up some of these charts. I've also got a couple of short setups we're looking at now that, like DOT, for example, it's lost its trend. So I'm thinking any strong moves on DOT, we can look for shorts now. Let's start with DOT. Okay, so DOT was a great support zone for us. We traded that support zone 3 times. Eventually, it did break. So we traded it that first day it broke. We had a pullback on the 1 hour. Then we traded it again straight into the 618 where it rejected. We came back for support. There was support buys. If you were buying support, you weren't making a mistake. You were just following old resistance become support. We had trend there. We had fib. We had horizontal. So it wasn't a bad area. DOT lost that area now. So now this area for me is becoming a high resistance zone. So if we get a strong move up now, let's assume BTC bounces from that double bottom, and we get, say, a 2 to 3% move on DOT. I think the safest play here is to start looking for shorts in this area. And you can see why. It's just a standard loss of trend, push back into a big resistance zone, a high time frame 786, a horizontal, and a trend. So your higher percentage play here would be to look for a short on any DOT strength. So there is an alarm here for you guys on Discord. We are still testing it, guys. And I'm hearing some guys got the fetch alarm yesterday when it broke that trend. Some didn't, and you might have been pinged now a few times while I was setting alarms on the Discord. We're still just getting some of the stuff sorted out. Some of the alarms went off by accident. They weren't in the exact area. You would have spotted on DYDX. I think I tried twice. So we are perfecting that for you. So just bear with us. But there is an alarm there now on Discord. You can obviously go and set your own alarm on TradingView 4.54. So when DOT hits that zone, it will ping you, and then you can make your choice. You know, you can look at the chart, you can look at my chart, and
Have we lost Dylan?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm assuming you got from this pump here at 1.45.
We lost you there, Dylan.
Okay, I'm back.
Can you just go back to that DOT chart if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can remember on Tuesday, when we had that pump up, Dylan took his profit when he hit that 618, where that yellow circle is. And I think that's a lesson learned. When we're going against a trend, remember the main trend is to the downside at the moment. So we're actually going against the main trend. So when you're in profit and you're hitting areas like the 618, take profit. I think that's a lesson learned.
These are, yeah, Jay, and we must enforce this every time we have this discussion. Actually, sometimes we forget. There's a lot of new people here as well. But these charts that I'm doing in the Discord, these are like high impact areas. I have high conviction in these areas. So if we get a pump into a zone like this, it's a strong region, and your best play is to TP at these zones. You don't want to be hanging on there. I mean, look how Dot 80A Matic, we did a full round trip. So if you bought that support and we ripped right up and you wanted to hold for a bigger move, we've done a full round trip, and on Dot, you would have been stopped out in this situation. And you can see the power that these areas have. Look at the size of that rejection immediately off that 618. And we saw it in a host of these tokens. So again, just in reinforcing what Jay is saying to you guys, let's play level by level, and you're going to see it on Link now. You're going to see a perfect example. You just go level by level, you buy the support, you sell the resistance. If you're a bear, you short the resistance. If you're a bull, you long off these supports. Eventually they break, but you can see like this classic example. These areas work. They're strong zones and they're high percentage areas. So let's go back to this render chart. I want to show you Link after this. So render was hanging around in this horizontal zone for a while. It's slightly higher than a 618. So I didn't highlight it for you, but if you look here, you can see there's a 618 floating around. Okay, there it is there. So I didn't have nice tie-in at this area, but we did have this little section here to watch for 618 where it's bouncing now. But based on what I'm seeing here, guys, I mean, this is a classic 618 bounce here for now. You can see there's a bit of a wick trying to reclaim it. I've set an alarm down here in Discord just to try and capture this little range move here. So this would be my preferred bounce zone. So if render gives us this area, I'm quite keen on the long. And, you know, I'm looking at a resistance zone around about there. So Jay, I'm assuming you got your entry somewhere up here on your short play, right?
Yeah, I got my entry there. Unfortunately, I'm not 100% in the trade yet, so I'm hoping that it goes up again into that red block, and then I'll add to my position.
So you can see, guys, why we like this red block. We've got horizontals here bouncing for multiple 1 hour candles. It was showing as support. And we've got the trend that it's rejected off. Okay. So now for us, it becomes a stronger resistance zone. So if we bounce back up there, that's your TP zone. If you're trying to catch this bounce from 1.4, that's a TP area. If you want to stick around, you obviously might get that, but that's a different, you know, you can treat that differently. Yeah, but as long as you're protecting yourself at these areas, and especially if you get those big moves into these high conviction zones, like this band is probably quite a strong one. Yeah, you know, that's a big TP area for me. That's a bigger resistance zone for me. So just keep your eyes on this one. You might get a 618 reaction here from render, but for me, I like it at 1.4 as a bounce. Let's deal with injective. I mean, injective, this thing is just bouncing around in this tight range. You can see I've got an alarm on each side for you guys. So you can, the bears will look to look for shorts up here and hopefully catch it lower. The bulls are going to look for longs off here. So I'm still in the 618 long off injective. I'm not going to exit until I start losing these areas here. Bigger picture, if we zoom out, you can see why I like the look of this. If we get this push up from the 618, let's assume we hold the 618, we push this up, this area is going to become a very nice, I see we've got a theta alarm here. Okay, this area is going to become a very nice support zone for the bigger move later. So I quite like this for now. If we lose this, obviously I'm going to get stopped out, and then I'm looking for areas lower down here. And then the bears obviously are going to look for any pumps into this resistance area on injective. So let's zoom in here. So I know this will be Jay will be hunting a short here. So Jay is going to look for something like this. And Jay, jump in, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know Jay is going to want this. He's going to want this pump up into the zone over here. And he's going to start looking for shorts. And then he's hopefully going to catch it lower and send it down. So there's your option as well. There's a TP zone. You could lose that, push back up, another possible short there. So we've got a little something for everybody here. And it's okay to feel confused. I was speaking to Carl this morning. I said, what's going on? Are you long? Are you short? He's like, I'm long and I'm short. He's got a short on as a hedge on BTC. He's long on BTC from lower down, but it's very confusing at the moment. So that's why we're just going to play these little areas, and maybe it might give us an advantage of an entry. So again, if we pump up and you bearish, this is your zone, 7.3, and maybe we get an opportunity to send it lower. If you bullish, well, the 618 is the best area to be looking at in these conditions. So here we are again, still sitting on the 618. You can see it tried earlier today. So we're going to look for that move for the bulls. And then same opposite play. We break up there. We look for support. There's our next entry, and we take it higher. Okay, so tight range. It's okay if you feel confused. Nobody knows which way we're going right now. We're just looking at these areas. Okay, Phantom. I'm sitting in a Phantom long still from yesterday. We bought that support. So you can see my plan here for Phantom. This is the 8-hour chart. I think we could get a great short opportunity or TP opportunity here at 0.227. So there, I've got a 786 fib here as well, and some horizontals. And I've put an alarm here for you guys as well on Discord. But just to be sure, maybe put an alarm on your trading view. So if we do get that bullish move now, definitely your TP zone and a possible short area. Obviously, the other play is we start melting back down to trend, and we're going to see what happens at this area here. I've got a trend 618, but Phantom could very quickly turn into a dot situation like that. Okay, so, you know, and all these alts are starting to look that like they could go either way. So keep your eyes on Phantom. I'm holding my long. This is why I had a fib and I had horizontals, and I'm backing the move higher. Obviously, I could be wrong. And that's why we use stop losses. David's looking to add Phantom, right, Dave? If Phantom drips lower, you want to add at the 618, if I'm not mistaken, because you have bullish conviction to push it higher. Okay. So
that
if anyone
moving
saw
average
David's,
that moving average, that pink one, what is that now?
that's the 50. So guys, I
the
generally
50?
my 200 is blue and my 50 is red. And Sam Price, I was on an interview with Sam Price yesterday, and he's taught me a few things with MAs, and I'm trying to slowly add that to what I'm working on. So I'll bring you guys some extra MA spice in the next few days, but he's using the 20 and the 200 on all time frames. So I'm just getting used to it at the moment, but it could be a nice little ad for us. So yeah, Jay, 50 is way up here.
And
This
if we
is
go
my
back in
zone.
history, has 50 been resistance over the last couple of weeks?
Let's
If we
take a
go
look.
back, it looks like it, eh?
Yeah, you can see it's just banging up against it.
Yeah.
I leave it on the chart because it is something interesting to watch. You know, I like it there. It gives me confirmation of an area or whatever. Just not as powerful as the 200-day, obviously, but I just do have it hanging around. I have been playing around with this 200 on the 4-hour as well, which is down there, and I'm still bringing in. I'm bringing in that other one. Okay, so yeah, this is the plan for Phantom. The bears, you need to wait for higher, or you want to wait for a loss of support and then a move lower, and then you could get that dot look like we've got over there. Okay, so that is still on the table. Let's look at Matic. Matic also full pullback. I mean, it's an absolute round trip, isn't it? It would have been so fun, the glory days, holding that long. Remember in the bull market, we'd catch that long and we'd be like, cool, I'm holding this for 3 weeks. There's no problem. Now it's like high impact zones. You take your profit and you run. So, I mean, it might even be a good idea if you normally trade one token to take two that are similar and do half-half. And the one you can let run just in case this becomes the bull market. And the other one you can treat like you take your TP, you're very disciplined about it, you go area by area. That could be a nice idea we should think about. But Matic, again, buying support here, 618. I'm not in Matic, but I'm playing Phantom, but it looks identical. You know, we've got a 618, we've got a support buy. So if you think BTC is holding here, this is your opportunity for your long. So yeah, keep your eyes on that. Otherwise, again, here's the dot chart as a reminder. We could end up like that. We lose the trend, and then we start looking for push-ups to short. Okay, AVAX, I've got a possible inverse head and shoulders here. I know this is a little bit messy, but I was running through this idea last night, and the reason being is we've got a 786 here and a trend down here. So let me clean this up a little bit. So what I'm seeing here is possibly more downside on AVAX now that we've lost this key 618. So I'd actually like to see a little move lower down there and just complete that shoulder. If you see that one, Jay. And then maybe then I move up higher. So yeah, that's just the scenario I'm playing with. DYDX. So guys, this is our zone from last time. This could be our short opportunity. The last time DYDX pumped into this area, we were umming and ahhing, Dave. Remember, this was what, 2 days ago. We were umming and ahhing this area, saying, yeah, it could be. And it hit the zone and it rejected hard very quickly. And it's now creeping up here. It's one of the best performers today. Look at this. It is, open my list. .99%. It's the best performer on this watch list that I have here. See at the bottom here, 3.94%. There's something going on here with DYDX today. They're liking it. They're pushing it. But again, does it have strength to get through here? We're going to have to see what happens. This is the 200-day and a major resistance horizontal band. So this is a potential short opportunity. Again, that's your high there to watch. And, you know, again, stop losses, it depends on your risk profile. We could spend hours on that. You know, small stop losses, your win rate. We saw that comment today. You got small stop losses, your win rate is lower, okay, but your losses are less. If you have a large stop loss, you might win the trade more because, let's say, example, DYDX drifts up higher, it wipes everyone out, but you know it's going to come back down, you know, and you set your stop higher, but you can sweat that stop, you know. So it's a mental thing, and Dave's probably the best guy to take you through this strategy, and we must maybe add this to one of our chats this week about how to manage that, because I'm seeing a lot of messages with guys getting stopped out too early and then trades carrying on, and you know, it's something we need to deal with. My strategy is normally to give crypto a little bit more breathing room, and sometimes plays in my favor. But that's just something I worked out over time because I was tired of getting stopped regularly, you know, having tight stops. But it's something I think we need to have a session on that, guys.
Yep.
But yeah, so long story short, this is still a resistance zone. So if we were inverse, okay, if we were this way, I'd be saying, guys, DYDX is dropping into a major support area, and I'm looking for longs in this zone. So that's the conversation we'd be having. Okay, so let's flip it back to where it was. And there we are there. Okay, so that's the plan for now. And you can see why I like this area. Something to watch. All right. And we've had multiple touches on it, obviously. So again, you can say this time is different, or you can trade the support or the resistance till it breaks. And you saw we did that well with DOT. Okay, Filecoin. Look at this, 618 bounce. There's the 618 bounce. We got the BTC double bottom, and we got the reaction on Filecoin, 618 bounce. Discord alarm should have gone off. You should have got that notification. So let us know, guys, if you saw it. But yeah, something to watch. The plan for Filecoin was a move off the 618. If you're bullish, a push into the major 618. And then this is your offload zone. Just like Jay was saying, it's a major zone. No reason to hang around. If you get that move up, get out. This is short country, okay? And then we look for a move back lower down. If we lose the 618, we're going to look at the DOT chart again. It's going to look the same. We're going to lose that. We're going to look for moves up, and we're going to look for shorts there. Okay, so that's where we are with File. I've got a nice bearish chart for you guys on CAS. I think we're going to get our revenge on this thing. How's this? I think this is our moment to reclaim all the lost gains from CAS that I kept missing. I'm liking this. Jay, what do you think about this thing?
Looks beautiful.
Okay,
What is that
Am
move
I
done
being
as a
too biased
percentage?
that I want to short this thing to 0? So I've got alarms both sides. So bulls and the bears have alarms for cas. Okay, if we get a push up, I've said in Discord, I'm shorting this here. Okay, in this area, I'm looking for shorts on cas 0.036. So my plan is we're going to short any strength that we get on cas, and we want to push it down. And this is something I think we could get really nice and deep here. I want to show you this trend and why I think this. There's a little trend down here. So there's a nice area down here, and this is a nice strong area, 0.027. There's a 786 here. I think, Dave, you caught cas on a 786 long, and you did it. Yeah, so we know it reacts on that 786. I think it's a nice zone if we can get it that deep. Okay, so my plan here is, if you're bullish, you can look for bounce longs on the 618, push up, TP zone. I want to look for a short in this area if we get the opportunity. You can see it's a nice resistance area here, and then hopefully we get to send it down. Jay, what do you think about this guy?
Look, beautiful. What is that as a percentage if it does play out?
So from there to there, it's 26.
Okay, so the risk and reward there, you can see it definitely makes sense.
It's
And it
nice.
looks
It's
quite
definitely
like head
something
and
to elaborate
shouldery
into.
here. Huh? It's looking a bit tired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is tired.
You like this, Bruce?
Absolutely.
I definitely want to build
Well,
a swing
let's
short
see how
on
we
that.
play out, guys. So, step one, actually get an entry. So let's see how it plays out. But yeah, this one's on the Discord for you. There are alarms there. Render seems to want to hold the 618 for now. Oh, Link, this was great. Look at this. If you play level by level, how beautiful is this? There's alarms here for you guys again. Rejection at the top sent us full round trip back to the bottom where we started, where we had that mega pump. You buy that support, you sell the resistance, rejecting again at the 618 there. Okay, look at that. So that's the 618 I pulled from the top to the bottom. We melted straight through round trip, rejecting in that 618 region again. So yeah, level by level, something to watch for Link. What's the next play on Link? Well, once we ping this alarm, we got to see how things are going with BTC, and that could present us with an opportunity to ride it back down. If you're unsure, once again, BTC is looking bullish, you can let it move up again, and we can try and buy that support for the ride back up. Okay. And I had a whole bunch of other things open for you guys. I wanted to show you, it was USD ZAR. I think it was this one. Yeah. So just for fun, on Prime XBT, I longed this USD ZAR. I was just playing a little breakout. So this is the currency in South Africa, for those of you that don't know what it is. And it's one of the most heavily traded currencies in the world, and it's relatively volatile. So it had a little breakout here, the dollar ZAR breakout, and there's an inverted head and shoulders I'm watching. So this is a target here we could look at. And then the mega move would be the next one higher up. So, I've just played this breakout. My stop's under these candles here. And I like this little double bottom. And that was the 50-day MA. So yeah, I'm doing that on Prime XBT, guys. Mega size leverage they give you. So you don't need much to have a starter position. But remember, obviously, this thing moves 0.5%, you're going to get stopped out or whatever the story. So yeah, that's what I've got on the table at the moment.
So if that plays out, then the Dixie is going to strengthen.
Yeah, so this trade was based on this green Dixie candle today.
Yeah.
So I saw the strength, and then I just tied them in with one another, and I drew this chart when I saw the Dixie, and I thought, shit, let me just have a crack at this one. So they were tied in together. If the Dixie starts rejecting, then I would assume this one is going to start reversing. I'd like to ride it up to there before it reverses. Let's see how it plays out. Sometimes in South Africa, they score own goals here, the politicians. So, they figure out a way just to wreck the rand a little bit more. So it's not, it is tied into the Dixie, obviously, but we're a bit special here. We sometimes do our own damage. So maybe they give us a little boost. Yeah, so let's see how that plays out. Okay, guys, that's enough of me talking. Hopefully you got some good stuff. I'm dying to hear what Bruce is trading. I'm dying to hear what Chris is trading. Chris is here as well, guys. Chris has had some banger setups lately too. Yeah, Bruce, let me let you in here.
Sure.
Show us what you got.
I'm looking at three
guys,
things
let me
right
know
now.
in the background if you like my new office setup. Can you see my view?
It's gorgeous.
I put a little pillow there. I've got a monkey there on the wall.
It's nice.
Okay, cool. Ooh, what is this? OP.
So I'm looking at optimism. It's been in this channel for a while, which is what I love trading, taking longs off the bottom of a channel. And it's coming back to that major trend line on the bottom there on the higher time frame. When I zoom in, it's again playing in this range right here pretty well. And it has come right, oops, sorry, come back here. It has come right back to this support level, that it's reacted to a number of times, which is also exactly the 618 between here and there. So I'm looking to possibly do a long from here and see if it will, oh, hang on 1 second. There we go. A long, basically a jump off the 618 support level and come up to the top of that trend. If it loses that, and that'll be based on Bitcoin. So just quickly go to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin showing signs of being bullish, then that trade will work out. If Bitcoin continues just kind of dripping like it's doing right now, then I'll be more hesitant. The thing is that Bitcoin also just hit a support level. So I'm just going to wait and watch for just a little bit longer to see where it's going to go. But if it, come back, I hate that it does that. If it does lose that 618 level, you'll notice that the major trend line and the 786 line up. So if we do get stopped out here, then I'll be looking for the long off this confluence of the 786 trend line and see what happens there. But if it goes below that and comes back up, then we'll be looking for shorts. So we kind of have three setups in the wind. And I think partially it really depends on what Bitcoin does at this point, because optimism follows Bitcoin pretty closely. Very similar setup on Sol. You can see that Sol has been operating on a low time frame in this range. Sell, buy, sell, buy, and what we're doing is looking for another buy because we're coming to the bottom of this range. Also, on the shorter time frame, this is a level that it liked a couple times. It's showing a lot of consolidation right there. I almost took a long when it broke out of that trend line because it seemed to be tracking that, and I'm glad I didn't. But it looks like it came down to the 786 and is handily rejecting it. I don't know if you can see that candle, but this is a pretty bullish candle in my mind. Right, came down, found a lot of long liquidity right there, and is pushing back up. So again, I'm going to watch Bitcoin for a little bit and then possibly take a long from this support area right there, back up into that range. Probably will get out of the trade pretty early if that happens in that region, because with that major trend line that it's going to have to break through, just shy of the horizontal support level, this is going to you're going to see this kind of reaction in that area. There's going to be a lot of shorts sitting there, and the battle between the bulls and the bears begin. So if I get into this long and it comes up, I'm also going to be really cautious right at that 200-day moving average, because it's probably going to run into some resistance there too. So that's something I'm looking at right now. Haven't quite decided yet, but it's close. And then the last one that I've been keeping an eye on, you guys should guess which one it is.
FOMO.
Gee, really? No, really? FOMO Tomo actually got into that trade right after our session yesterday, entered along. It pumped up pretty quickly, and then it has just gotten stuck. It came back and retested, which is great. It came back and pushed right up against this resistance area. You can kind of see it pretty clearly. I haven't marked it out, but it's really easy to see that even on the way down, it definitely had some resistance right there. So it rejected off of that, which is fine. And now it just seems to be jockeying in this little range right over there. So I'm going to watch it for a little bit. I'm still in this trade. I'm going to watch for a little bit. If it doesn't break through here pretty soon, I'm just going to take my money and run. If it breaks down below this level right over there, I'll take whatever profit there is and run.
So Bruce, that comment you're making, and this is very important because everyone has a different style or a way of trading.
Yeah.
Bruce is talking about a time here. So he's not interested in where it is. You saying if it doesn't do what you want it to do in a certain amount of time, you out. Just elaborate on that a bit for the guys.
Well, I learned to trade in foreign exchange, and I apologize if this is not polite discussion, but he used the word if you see a trade and there's a lot of what he calls fuckery going on, then he just gets out. It's just not worth your time and effort. And as often as not, it's going to mess with you, and all that hard work gets wasted. So if price is going to do what it's going to do, it's going to do it. If it doesn't have the momentum to go where you want it to go, then go find something that's better. He really,
I like that. I mean, I personally tend to sit a little bit too long. If I see something on support, I say, well, I'm not exiting because I don't have a reason to exit. But it's a very interesting comment, and it's a very interesting something. It might be something to look at here.
Yeah, and partially that depends on the market. Like right now, we're in a market where trends last 15 seconds, right? So you try and get a trend, you want to then build a position, but 3 hours later, the thing just reversed and came back to where it started. When we get into an honest to God bull run, I'll probably change my tune. But right now, the market's giving me small moves, so I'd rather take the cash, put it in there, build the account, and a little bit at a time, and wait for wait for big moves when big moves actually happen. So,
and I just want to make a comment. I sometimes forget to tell you guys, I generally sway, well, you probably noticed, I sway towards longs over shorts. And the reason being, and Sheldon actually has a similar thing. Sheldon and I have done some incredible things when we get a 7-day or a 10-day run on BTC.
Yeah.
And I don't want to form the habit for myself of trying to look for shorts all the time, because I know what can happen in 10 days when you have a cross margin account and they allow you to leverage your profits of unclosed positions. So so that is why I have that sort of bias towards staying long. And again, if you are a shorter, you've probably done incredibly well in the last couple of months or whatever, because these moments where we get with BTC, where we get these 10-day or 2 weeks runs, they sort of quite far apart at the moment. So we sit here waiting patiently all the time, but when it comes, guys, you're going to see the fireworks, and you're going to see what happens here.
Yeah, I don't expect, Dylan, that it's going to be subtle, right? If Bitcoin, whenever it happens, breaks 31.32,
the stuff's gonna,
then the world is going to light on fire, and we'll have trends that last for days, weeks, or whatever. But right now, that's just not where we're at, is it?
Yeah, and Craig's super disciplined at this. He's trading order block to order block, and he's cutting a few percent here or there. And I still have this bias of leaning towards longs and potentially bigger moves. But when the day comes, it comes, and we're not going to know, and it's going to be here. And the US is going to buy the session. We're going to go to sleep, and the Asians are going to buy the session, and we're going to wake up, and Europe's going to come in, and it's just going to be it's going to be brutal for anyone shorting.
I mean, and not only that, but right now we find places to enter trades pretty easily. But once you start getting candles like we saw the other day, and this thing right there becomes the norm, riding a trend is one thing, but finding an entrance when there's no retracement, is much harder, isn't it?
That's yeah. That's I would say that's my level of expertise. Me and Sheldon love that stuff. We're gonna get these flags and we get these little setups. We're gonna have some fun. We just guys, just be patient. It will come.
Yep.
It will
Yep.
come.
Anyway, that's what I'm watching for now.
Okay, nice one. Thanks. Chris is here, and I know Chris has had some awesome setups lately. I've seen some of his work. What are you watching today, Chris?
Thank you, Dill. I'm watching DYDX for a short off of that MA. The other one that I'm already building is I'm building a short on stacks.
Nice.
I feel like
Stacks chart?
sure. Let me do that.
Yeah, so guys, generally stacks flows with BTC, like Bitcoin Cash moves. When BTC gets bullish, stacks gets bullish. So, definitely something to watch. It had a 20-something% move the other day when BTC moved 4 or 5%. So what's your plan?
So can you guys see my chart?
Yeah.
You see us, right? So I saw when we pumped, we had that hard rejection into Craig's 886. If you pull the fib down. And then when I came and zoomed in, I saw that we just forming lower highs, lower high, lower highs. So when I failed to break the candle close over here, I've started laddering into a position. I don't know exactly how far down I'm going to ride it. If Bitcoin shows some weakness, I'm hoping that we can break this 3.8 level on the fib, at least to show some more weakness and get a lower low here, a bit of a push up, a lower high. I'll add some more to the position, and then I'll just start increasing leverage until and see where we go. If Bitcoin does break those key levels, then I'll ride it all the way down to the bottom, which is 14%. So I'll try and get it. If we do start breaking the levels here, then I'm gonna try and build this from low. It's currently a 5x leverage. I'm gonna try and build it slowly and get it up to 20x once we start breaking the levels and creating some resistances.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my main play.
So I'm assuming though, but you're assuming then BTC is going to be flat or running lower, right, with the stacks play?
Well, no, I don't know. Look, I'm not the most experienced trader here. My gut feel is when something pumps too hard, it generally needs to come and catch those orders that were missed. So if it retraces a little bit, then stacks chart will, I think, do double or 3 times what Bitcoin does. Like Bitcoin goes up 5%, stacks does 20%. If Bitcoin goes down ridiculous. 5%,
it was ridiculous. I think people got a bit excited, didn't they? But you can see that nice thick candle there. I mean, once we lose that low at 0.5, I think it's plain sailing down to what 0.0, 0.46-ish, that sort of region.
That's so I mean, if this kind of like ladders down, that'll be great because then I can add to it on each sort of lower high. If it just dumps, then I'm fine with that as well. 5x leverage from here to the bottom is still 70%. I'll take it,
Yeah, totally.
Then look, I've got a longs and then I've also got shorts. So that's my main, the short that I'm going for. And then with the expectation that we go down, then I've been playing this CAS range. I know you think it's going a lot lower, but this was the play that got me those massive gains.
Move, that was a monster move.
That was the monster move.
You guys caught that.
So
that was 14%.
I can't help
on
myself.
leverage.
Yeah, I made 150 or 150% on my whole account at 19x leverage because I got in on the 618 and then I added on the lower on the higher low on the 5 minutes and then I let it run and then slowly started adding to it and then I exited it when we got the lower higher. So I was hoping that we would break this and really turn it into a support and I could ride this thing for a few days, but obviously that's not the market we're in at the moment. So I then as soon as we got the lower rejection over here, then I closed out the position. So I can't personally help myself but to try and long it again on the 618.
I know the feeling.
So I would love I would love to see this kind of like bleed down, like make another lower high, and like kind of like stabilize here, and then I will take another hit.
Look, that 618 is not going down without a fight. So I agree. There will be another bounce. I don't know if it's going to be a 15% bounce, but you know, if we get a move to that 618 at around 0.033,
just
wherever
another,
that is, you'll get
just
a bounce.
another notch. I don't know how important this is when it comes to like inception points on coins, but this is pretty much the exact zone that CAS chart starts. So I don't know
That's
if anyone knows how
I think the
important
history goes a bit further back. Is that the weekly? What is that? The
this
daily?
is this KuCoin? Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
KuCoin.
So there's history further back, like on MEXC and stuff like that. But yeah, that's
Okay.
that is a big area. That was our big resistance zone previously as well. So yeah, it's a big area.
If it breaks that, if it breaks it, then I'm not married to the coin. I'll short it to shit, you know. But
No, that's the spirit.
if I can't help myself,
And Helga
says
CAS looks like a Head and Shoulders. Yes, it does. So if you missed earlier, we were talking about it. It's starting to look like it's running out of steam, which it would make sense after 7,000% increase this year or something. You know, I think it would. Some of the firms involved there might want to take a little bit of profit. So to me, it would make sense that it starts sort of dropping back a little bit. I have a question from Melissa K. She says, is it possible for the trading alerts to indicate either a long or a short trade? So Melissa, we're working on a specific signal group for everybody. So watch this space, okay? You're going to get long entries, short entries. You're going to get TP, stop losses. We're working on that stuff for you guys. So coming soon. The charts that I'm doing in the Discord are my high impact zones, and I really want you guys to learn from them. I don't want to tell you what to do. I'm giving you this information. I'm saying a high resistance zone. You use that information accordingly. If I'm telling you it's a strong support zone, use that information accordingly. Play those areas. You can see these zones that I give you. We get a pretty good hit rate in these areas. Obviously, they don't work every time, but see where I'm pulling my fibs, see where I'm pulling my horizontals, see where I'm pulling my trends. Use it as an educational tool. Practice it on your stuff. You're going to get pinged. If it's a high reaction area and you've seen it's dropped onto support, well, you pretty much know what I'm thinking. Okay. And if it's pushing into resistance, you'll probably know my thought process behind that too. So again, yeah, just use it for education. And like David's here. David's my, I almost feel like, what is it? It's like Karate Kid. What is it? What is that? Miyagi and David's my student. I mean, David is so mentally strong and he's such an excellent trader. And he used those Discord charts to help him make his decisions when he won that Bybit competition. So he's the best one to explain to everybody how to use it. Dave, maybe just give them a minute and tell them how you operate with these charts.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah. So just kind of marinating on that question. You know, it's important to first, you know, like I've explained it all the time, but I always have to try to see what the sentiment is for Bitcoin. That's the key, right? Are we going up? Are we going down? If it's confusing, you got to have a strategy for both or for all three scenarios, right? If it's going to be a boring market, if we're bullish, if we're bearish. And with that being said, with your charts, it's like you're Christopher Columbus. You've paved the way. You've shown all the levels. You know, with Lux Algo now, I can see all the different order blocks, and looking at everything. You know, putting everything on the table, looking at everything. You know, if my bias is short, I'm looking where are the resistance areas, where are the short setups, and then I never preset limit orders. I always have alerts, right? So like, for example, right as we were starting this call, I had an alert that went off that render hit the 618. Did I take the trade? No, I didn't. But I made it clear to everybody, hey, look, we just hit the 618. We found out Jason's in a short. And since Bitcoin's kind of in that area where we're not too sure, maybe it could come down lower. But when we see the reaction, right, and we see confirmation, that's where, I increase my leverage, I increase my size and let it ride. And I think I said it on that podcast, but before I used to just let it ride and hope that it would go to the moon. And I think that's a problem that everybody will probably face at some point. Is you're staring at 100%, 150%, and you just can't get greedy. You can't sit there and hope that it's going to go to 200, 300, 400. It would be nice, and we will get those experiences. I have as well. I remember seeing like an 800% long on XRP a few years ago, and I never closed it because I thought I was going to go higher. So it's just really coming up with their own strategy, taking profits and starting new positions, just like what Bruce said. Like if it's dancing around too much, or fuckery as he calls it, look for the next one. Look for the next one. There's so many more, and that's what I've been trying to do here with the community, is looking for setups, and I'm not necessarily taking all of them. I will be vocal about the ones that I do take, but yeah, that's just kind of my thought process with everything, is don't get too greedy, have a strategy, and have a strategy for either outcome and how you're going to handle that outcome, whether it's a stop loss or whether it's adding more to the position, so on and so forth. And again, it's a game of probabilities. We won't always get it right, but the key is get it right most of the time. So
and another one is, if you are wrong, know when to cut and know when to actually walk away. And it's happened to all of us, guys, and I'm sure there's 500 people watching this right now, and I'm sure a lot of you experienced it, where it just goes redder and redder, and you start hanging on, and you start thinking, this is, it's going to turn, and it goes deeper and it goes deeper. It's the biggest pain you could ever suffer. So sometimes you just got to know when to cut this thing and walk away, and maybe, use my charts as your guide. These are high conviction zones, high percentage areas. And if we lose those levels, they're going to become resistance again. So, use those areas as your guide. I know David used it very well, like when he was making his choices, when he was underwater in some positions, he was going to these charts and saying, okay, well, this is now a big area. Let me not overdo it and cut the whole thing now. Let me see what happens in this zone that we were showing in the Discord. And he hung on a couple of those. I think Phantom was a good example. At the time,
Phantom. That was like my first aha moment with your charts. Is that, and this is before I met you guys, but Sheldon was talking about it on the show. I made a lot of profits on Phantom. I was taking profit, starting new positions, but when Phantom got to a certain area, I felt confident, and I was looking at a negative 50%, negative 60% position. And, like, do you cut it, or do you look at the charts? And for me, I looked at the charts, I saw support, and I actually said, you know what, I'm going to add here. And so that's where my buffer thing, worked out really well. It hit the buffer. So it went from, being quote, liquidated to negative 50%. And I think it went down to like negative 60, negative 65. And then I just added more, right? Because there's an option where you can click plus, add margin, basically add more to your stack, and then it lowers your negative percentages. And I had to hang in there for like a day and a half, but Bitcoin had a pump, and that position went to like 150%. So those are situations where it does make sense to do that, and everybody has to make their own decision on when you're going to do something like that. I think it's advanced, but it was your charts, because I remember going to the charts and it said support area. And I'm like, we're at support. Like, this is it. Like, I can't go lower, and it worked out. So
well, there you go, guys. So that's the idea. Use it as a guide. We can't tell you exactly what you need to do and how you're going to do it. This is your trading journey. You need to figure out where your buttons are, what pushes your buttons, what hurts you the most. you know, how you feel in a position when you're losing. You need to make those decisions for yourself. But what we can give you is support, all of us, and we can give you high conviction areas, and we can tell you where we're wrong and where we make mistakes, and we can tell you where we win. And that's all we can really offer you for now. We do, though, have a signal group coming. So watch this space, okay? That's coming soon. And that'll be a separate thing, and you'll get pinged and you'll get these setups from us, and you can practice and hopefully practice what we're showing you while you're doing that. I've got a request for BLZ. Let me just pull that up quickly. This is Blue Zell. I want to show you something interesting. So BLZ is in the zone that I was speaking about the other day. It's a tight little area. But I'm feeling a little bit bearish on BLZ. And the reason being is that whenever we see a golden cross on these moving averages, a golden cross is the 50-day moving up over the 200-day. That's supposed to be a very bullish thing. We often see altcoins dump afterwards. And when we see the death cross, like we saw on Render about a week ago, we saw the 50-day cutting down, cutting below the 200-day, Render actually pumped. So they kind of do the opposite. So here's the 50-day moving up through the 200-day on Blue Zell, which I find quite interesting. And, you know, so if I have to use that theory that I have, I'd say within a few of these, within a day or two, I would think we would see more downside. And that's because I watched it happen to Uni. I watched it happen to Solana. I think AVAX did it. There were a couple of these else. Phantom might have done that too. And then we had Render do the complete opposite. So that's just something I'm playing with. As far as Blue Zell goes right now, this is the 4-hour sitting on a trend and a 618. So this is a potential bounce area. You wouldn't short on this support zone. You've got horizontals here, you've got a 618, and you've got a trend. So it's a tricky one. So rather let it drip lower, let it move up, and then you can get a short entry there if things start going down. The bulls will say, well, you know, BLZ, trend, 618, we want to send this thing up from here. So this is actually a decision time for you guys. You need to decide how you are on BLZ. This is a great area if you're bullish to be long. And you would have seen the same on NEAR. NEAR is in a very interesting zone. I was showing this on the Discord earlier. 618 trend. So if you're bullish and you want to ride this thing up and you're happy where BTC is, it's actually quite a simple trade setup. There's your low over there. Let's just put some dashes there. So, you know, this is typically how I would set something up. I'd wait for this deep move into it, and then I'd try and catch under that low as an example. This is a 4-hour chart. And then I would say, okay, well, I want to ride this thing up to resistance. And I'd look at it like this. And I'd say, okay, if we just wick through the trend, I want to get the buy in. And maybe we could do that little move. Okay. If you bearish on NEAR, okay, so you would have got your alarm. You need to wait a little bit longer. Let this thing drift down, and then you're going to catch your short the other way around, which will be like that. So you'd wait for a push up, maybe a wick through that 618. So you'd look for something along those lines. Okay, and then you'd want to ride it to at least this area. And I'd say if things really start getting weak, we're testing these wicks down here all the way down. So those are your options. But if you're bullish, this is your area. Remember, if you're bearish, you've got to wait for your entries. So you're bullish, we wait for our entries. We wait. Dips into our zone, then we decide if we're on or not. The bears, you got to wait. Dips into your zone, like DYDX. You got to decide if you're on or not. 200-day MA rejection, horizontal resistance. What we do know factually is that there'll be a shit ton of stop losses here. Okay, and they add up and they add up and they add up. So when it does eventually pop, which might not be today, it could still come down, but the day that it breaks up here, this thing is going to move, and it's going to move quickly up to that zone. Jay, I don't know if you agree with that statement, but I'm seeing stop losses from all the way back in May 2023 sitting above this area. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. Agree. I'm just keeping an eye on the S&P. It's starting to turn down. We just need to put a trend line there on the 1 hour and just watch that it doesn't break the trend.
Okay, let's have a look at this S&P. So this is where I shorted it last time, up here. And I think, Jay, you and I had this chat that we were thinking this S&P was going to come down and close a gap, which it did. It actually went deeper than that one. Then we said no, it's actually going to come back up and close that one too. So we were looking for that.
Yep.
So it's approaching a zone of interest where, for me, what I'm looking for, I might be looking for a short here when we close this gap. So let's zoom in here. Okay, so you see this gap over here. Often these things come and close the gap. So what do you think about that? The RSI is not very high yet, though, Joe. So
Yeah, if
sometimes,
you go
you know,
down
I
to
like.
the 1 hour, it's a bearish divergence there.
Let's look at that. Yeah, so let's just show the guys what that is. So bearish divergence, for those of you that are new to this, is when the oscillator starts moving down. Okay, it starts running out of steam. So you can see the oscillator starts moving down, but the price is still moving up. And that's often a sign that you might get some downside. Doesn't mean it's going to zero. It just means you might, in this hourly situation, start getting some downside. So that is something to watch. I like to watch it on the daily for these prime XBT trades that I do. So, but interesting, Jay. I mean, this is a resistance zone as well. This is that
Yeah.
786.
Yeah. So it looks like it's starting to run out of steam, maybe, and we just need to keep it out there.
So what I often do with the stock market is I watch this RSI a lot and I use it as a guide. It seems to flow nicely with it. You know, these oversold and overbought, that sort of stuff. So for me, this is sort of too early to look for shorts. But yeah, let's see how things go. But yeah, right now we're seeing bearish divergence like Jay's telling you, and we're sitting at a resistance zone. I just don't like this RSI on the daily. On the 1 hour, it's looking like we need to come down a little.
So your next level of support is what? So around about 4450.
4450, yeah, there you are. Yes. There. Okay, so let's see how it plays out.
Yeah.
I want to see this gap close though, for
Agree.
me to be short here. I just want to see that push there. Unify. Somebody wants to see Unify. Adam wants to see Unify. Let's look at Unify. Oz Halloy says, what about Sol? We just covered it. Bruce did Sol very nicely for you guys already.
I'll
Okay,
put the chart up
Unify
in the chat.
Yeah, so guys, Bruce is going to drop that chart for you. Great. Oh, Unify. What is this thing? Let's just look at that. You guys must tell us in the chat before it pumps. Tell us early. We're going to catch one of these together. You know it's going to happen. We're going to catch one of these big movers. Bruce is going to be going, woohoo! Everyone's going to be celebrating. It's going to be a good day. It's going to happen. Okay, let's see what the story is here. Obviously, you don't want to dive into this candle now. Let's see where we are. Let's look for some supports. Okay, see there's an area to look at. Okay, let's pull some fibs like retracement fibs or, you know, bounce fibs here. There's a 618 up there. See the 382, a bit lower. Okay, let's zoom in now. So now I want to look for support and resistance on 1 hour, 4 hour. I just want to see what's going on. Okay, that's a huge candle. Okay, look at this. And I mean, when you see this type of shape on the daily, it's also very exciting. You get that little squeezy thing. And you saw that on Matic the other day. When you get this on the daily, you get such nice moves. But this is what we're going to do. When we're in this bull run, we're going to get these little squeezy flag things, and we've got you. We've got you. We're gonna show you the way. Okay, so if you want to trade this thing, this is your first line of support. There. I've got a token for you guys. What is it called? It's a gaming token. I can't remember the name. This guy told me about it last night, and it broke trend. It looked interesting. Okay, so here's a support area to watch. Let's see what type of trend we have. It's a very steep trend. So when it comes down, it could come down relatively quickly. Let's look at some fibs. Let's pull a fib from here to that high. Let's just have a look. Okay, 618 is there. Let's pull a fib from the bottom. Okay, I prefer this support area down here. That guy. Let's see what happens here. Does anyone know what this is? What do we do? Is this a pump and dump? Is this actually a thing? I think your high percentage bounce zone is down here. Maybe we get some kind of flag situation here. Maybe you get that. So just look for that. See what happens there. But 382 could deliver something for you. Night Owl. What did Night Owl share with us here? What chart is this? Can anyone see that? AKT. What is AKT?
It's a cautious.
Guys, if you see breakouts, geez, there was a lot of artistry going on here. If you see breakouts and things happening there in the chats and we're not talking about it, just, you know, dump it in and we'll pull up the chart. Ah, okay, look at this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know when we discussed this one, but it seems to be playing out now. Okay, so we looks like we want to retest this old support. Okay, so Night Owl showed a break of trend. Let's have a look. We didn't get our right shoulder, okay, but we did lose this trend. So this area is major resistance. You can see why, okay. Got lots of 4-hour support here. Okay, lost, try to reclaim, lost again. So I would say my first hunch is that that is resistance. Okay, we've got a trend break. And remember what I've been showing you guys. We often get, after these breaks, you get the pump, and then you get the rejection, and then you get your buy. Okay, and that's where the bears in a downward trend can really benefit, because you you sell these breakouts, these trend breakouts at good resistance areas. So if you miss this buy, I would rather just sit out now if you want to be long and let it play out. Let's see if you get a rejection and a pullback. Otherwise, if it decides to carry on going, just give it time, let it reclaim this zone, and then you can look for longs perhaps. But right now, for me, it's heading into a resistance area. So for me, there's not a long here. It's a potential short brewing for me. Let's take a look here. I'm going to just pull a little fib from there. There's a 618 resistance coming now. And then you'll get the 786 teeing up a little bit higher at 1.12, 1.13. Okay, but this trend right now, the trend is down, but it's now broken. Now we're going to see what happens here.
Dylan, can you take a look at Trader Joe? It's kind of a fun one on a day like today.
Yeah. Trader Joe. Joe's pumped 50% today. What is it, a DEX?
Yeah.
Is Trader Joe a DEX?
On
Okay, that
Avalanche.
might explain why DYDX is moving. Wow, 200-day MA rejection. Look at that.
Yep.
Ooh,
Short zone, trend, bang.
Jeez.
Look what is going on here. Look at that rejection, guys. 200-day into trend.
Mm-hmm.
Are you brave enough, though? Are you brave enough? Candle like that, Jay. Are you jumping in? Are you brave
Don't
enough?
jump
Shall
in
we
front
do
of
this?
it, right?
If it's on Bybit, I'll have
Don't
a
jump in
go.
front of a raging bull.
Yes.
No.
I mean, this is ridiculous, though. I mean, what is going on here? All these shorters just got rinsed.
Yep.
go
Wow.
down to the 1 hour, please.
Hold on. I'm trying to see if it's on Bybit yet. It is. Okay, this is isolated.
Yep.
Okay, see, it's already dipping now. It's almost getting too late for me. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
opening a tiny short here. It's an isolated short. Okay, my stop loss is above that 200-day MA. What is this? It's witchcraft, this thing. No, I can't believe it. Jeez.
Check it's a similar length to the other green candle. When every other time it's pumped, it's doing a similar size as well.
Okay, so this explains, if Trader Joe's pumping, it's a DEX. DYDX is a DEX.
Yeah.
We need to look at some of these other DEXs. Okay,
Trader Joe is
it's very
is the
interesting.
main
This
exchange on the Avalanche chain.
okay, so 50-day MA, it fought around this 50-day MA. I would assume it's going to fight around this area. I mean, unless something's going on here, like the guys are loading up, they're making fees again.
Yeah.
Things change quickly. Same,
That was a
same as like
crazy pump.
Uniswap, Sushi. Those things also start blowing up out of nowhere. But how cool was that? Straight into the 200-day, straight into
Mhm.
trend, rejection. Okay, no guarantees here. This thing is a beast. Wow. Okay, so I did an isolated small short. My stop's above the 200-day MA. Not financial advice at all. Okay. It's just, Bruce said it was fun, so let's have fun. Let's see how that goes. Oh, there's Uniswap news. Alvaro, thanks. I've just shorted some kind of Uniswap news. Okay, let's look. Let's see what's going on. What's going on with Uniswap? I literally just shorted the news. Oh no, I don't know. Alvaro, can you tell us what's going on there? Because I see Uniswap's just bleeding down into support. So
No, it was,
see.
you remember they got sued and now they got cleared. So
Well,
it's got
okay.
nothing to do with Joe.
I wonder what's going on there. So Uniswap is just drifting down into a support band. So not very exciting, but remember Uniswap, when DeFi stuff wakes up again, Uniswap will move. Oh yeah, guys, look here. Golden Cross. What happened? Dump. What coin were we looking at now with the Golden Cross? Blue Zell. Okay. Golden Cross, dump. That's what I was expecting on Blue Zell. There's an example. Yeah, US court dismissed a lawsuit against Uniswap. Funny Uni didn't pump. Yes, it is very strange. Oh, guys, I need to run. I need to
Bill,
go.
did you say you were long on Phantom?
Yes. Am I getting rinsed? No, I'm not.
Not
I
not
bought
yet.
this
But you
support.
have rejected the 618 coming down, and that's a lower high. Just
If
thought
you can
food
see
for
my
thought.
chart, yeah, thanks. I saw that. Thank you. You can see this, guys. We've got this downtrend here in play. Okay, so I bought the support here on Phantom 21, and my idea was to ride it up there. Okay,
Mhm.
that is a lower high, 100% correct.
So I shorted the lower high.
Thank you for sending me to zero. I appreciate that. Okay, quickly, let's do H bar. And then, guys, I do need to duck. I have got things to get to.
BTC is trying to push down here.
Let's take a look.
Slowly, slowly.
So this H bar trade, you can see they're bleeding it out here slowly. Look at this organized selling all the way down here. So remember, H bar was pumping on the back of some big news. And I think, you know, that trade is done until there's another catalyst. So what did we have here? We lost trend, we retested. The 4 hour. Okay, so this is a nice example though. We lost trend, retested trend and 50-day MA rejection. Okay, which is what we look for. We look for that confirmation. We look for various reasons to enter a position, short or long, 50-day and trend. There's horizontals there. Okay, so that was a good rejection zone. How's Trader Joe doing? Is it still under the 200-day? I'm scared to look.
Yep, rejecting. Kinda.
Okay,
Sorta.
David, there's a guy who wants to know, Dib wants to know, where are you adding more FTN? Okay, so David was looking, or Dave can answer that if he's here.
Yeah, it's the trend line. Let me see where I have it. Yeah, I have an alert set at 0.2060.
0.2060. Okay, you got that, guys.
That lines up with the 618.
Let me show you on the chart. So one. Okay, so 0.2060, just above the 618. Okay, nice one. So there you go, guys.
Ooh.
Okay, so that could be a good one. And then ideally, you want that to hold the trend if it dips into there and carry on. Otherwise, we got that dot situation that we're looking at. Okay, so just give it some time. There's not a long where it is now. There was a short there where Chris was saying, but there's no longs here unless you on support, which is what I wanted to do, was long the support.
So I'm shorting the 618 coming down and you're longing the 618 going up.
Yeah, well, I've been sitting in this thing since yesterday. So like that's why I was asking Bruce, because Bruce, like he says, if there's fuckery, what did you say, Bruce? You're out. So I'm saying, well, we're sitting on support. I'm just leaving it. But that's just my way. You know, everyone's got a different way to do things. So I was obviously looking for the bigger move. Chris, I was looking for a move to this area here. Doesn't mean it's off the table. We're still technically on support. So let's see what happens. But that's on the time frame that I like to watch, the zoomed out version. Okay, guys, I need to jump. You're obviously welcome to stay on and share some more charts and whatever. But yeah, I'm out of here.
Thank you.
Final comments, Jay, long or short?
No, I'm still my short. I'm keeping a close eye on stock market and BTC at the same time. On BTC, I'm looking for a reaction at 26,600 if we come down to that level.
Okay, 26,600, guys. I like that. 26,600, 26,800, anywhere in that band we like as a bounce zone. Okay, Bruce.
Neither. Just I'm going to watch Bitcoin and let it tell me what to do next. I'm just about. I'm 6 seconds from closing Tomo, taking some profit, and then waiting for it to figure out what it's going to do next.
Okay. Cool. Chris, you short. You said me to zero.
I'm short until I start seeing higher highs. I'll just remain short.
That DYDX short you called, by the way, is already played out. by the way.
Yeah, I missed my entry by
Another
too.
DYDX
0.5.
rejection. Another
Yeah,
rejection
that
at
was
the
perfect.
200 day.
That
Another
was
rejection on the
yeah.
200 day MA.
Yeah,
Joe must
that
come
was-
to 0 for me.
classic.
Oh man.
Okay,
So yeah, my
Dave,
entry was at 2.25 and it came to 2.53, 2.43.
2.4, yeah.
So I missed it by 0.007 of a cent.
lucky, unlucky.
Mm.
Dave, so Dave, you sitting in Phantom, you adding on the trend, so we know that. Yeah, that's where we are, guys. So we're gonna pick this up tomorrow.
Yep.
BTC, watch that level.
Yep.
26.6 to 26.8, and yeah,
Yep.
we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Cool.
Thank you.
Bye.
Safe trading.
Bye. Ciao,
Bye.
ciao.